vlog. Yesterday we didn't vlog because Miss Uze was here, our principal. So we're back.
If it's his hair, we would this morning.
I like his hair a lot. I'm jealous of his hair.
She was like,
His hair looks the same every day.
Chloe was like, we're gonna film in November. And I was like, no.
Get out. Of course Chloe would say that. How are you feeling, Erin? Is it a good book?
I walk extra slow if I want.
I saw you on the news this morning. Yes, sure.
You never made a grade. You had it down there. I always know how long you're
oh, yeah, that was
So we saw that password gotta be known. That's this part. And then so the password gotta be known.
Oh, it probably
Parent takes Miss.
yeah, I saw the S.
Yeah, so is it S or B? Then yeah, mine is SP. Would you put on my last name? Put on my last name.
Just go to Target and be matching. Get some matching
Christmas paints.
Say the vlog.
Wait, so you just put, you don't put no explanation?
Erin's busy, but she says hi.
We're learning about World War I.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. We should have notebooks out and everything. Ready to go. So, I'm going to finish up. We should come close to pretty much finishing with this day. Tomorrow and probably Monday we will do practice, which means you will probably have a quiz on this on Wednesday.
Are we not off to
What are we doing?
Just the light. Look alike.
It smells like cinnamon.
Is it? They don't know. I just know you're gonna ask. Smells like cinnamon. No, I put the goldfish in there.
Alright, so this is where we left off yesterday.
Not the
Have we done
goldfish.
SR? Alright, so basically what we got to was, in order to write the formula, if I gave you two different elements, you had to find their charges and you cross them, right? Alright, if you looked at trying to, for some reason that chart up there when this was originally done in PowerPoint and when it converted to Google Slides, it got the spacing on it. So remember, these are the column numbers. So if it's in column 1, it should have a +1 charge. Column 2 is +2. 13 is +3. 14 is ±4. 15 is -3. 16 is -2. And 17 is -1, right? Alright, you ready? So, just like before, you find the charges. So what's calcium's charge? +2. Now, for OH or a polyatomic ion, you can't get the charge off the periodic table. you have to go to the list of ions. All right? So you'll find OH on this list, and when you look up OH, what's its charge? -1. So OH is -1. All right, so everybody's good with that. Now, you cross just like you did before. But the problem comes in, if I write it CaOH2 like this, this tells me I have 1 calcium, 1 oxygen, and 2 hydrogens, right? But according to this, I need 2 OHs. So if I had 2 OHs, I need 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is, whenever you have to write the number from up here behind a polyatomic ion, you put the polyatomic ion in parentheses. So it's going to be open parentheses OH, close parentheses 2. All right?
That song.
-2.
Sorry, don't.
No. All right?
So if you add +1 to -2, it gives you -1. Would that one work for that one, or that's how you really do it?
How do you feel about second half?
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying to figure out your logic.
I understand your logic.
So,
Somebody in the bathroom.
-2, and that's oxygen, and then hydrogen is +1.
Right?
So -2 + 1 gives you
-1.
That's correct.
So would you do that, like, let's say it was something else, but not oxygen and hydrogen?
The only thing though is remember to form the compound you have to have a neutral charge, right? So when you add them up, you should get 0. So if you take water, water is H2O, right? So hydrogen is +1, oxygen is -2, right? Well, if I have H2O, how many +1s do I have? 3. If I have H2, I have 2 +1s, right? So +1 +1 is +2. Oxygen is -2, so when you subtract them out, now you get 0, right? So that's how it works.
So, okay, so what I do, no, I'm asking, like, no,
She's asking if we could work. It worked for that one, but can it work for your pencil?
We'll put it together.
So would it work for P? Oh, let me see. Where's P? Oh, that's +3. O is, I know, -3.
No,
That's
it would,
-1,
because some of the
-2.
not all the polyatomic ions have a metal or non-metal.
So that
They're
I don't
usually all
know.
negative charges.
so it wouldn't work.
If that's what I think y'all are just trying to do. Yeah, you have to just look them up on the chart.
I have to do.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
So if I look at this list
Like
of
baby
polyatomic ions, it's not all of them. It's not all of them that I gave you, but it's most of them. What do you notice most of them end with?
Oh,
Ate or I? ATE or ITE? That's going to be important in a few minutes. If it's a monatomic ion, it's going to end in IDE. All right? That's also important to keep in the back of your mind. All right. So I'm going to switch from here. I know there are a few slides left, but it's not as confusing to go this way. So if you want to pull this up, well, we're not quite into practice just yet.
I feel like cosplay.
We're still going to look at some more examples, but as far as writing from the slideshow here.
I'm gonna do that now when I do something.
All right, so we just looked at finding the formula.
What happened? It's on the wall. It was there.
They get you jittery. All right, so we just looked at, if I told you you had this atom, and they're going to form a compound, how to find the formula, correct? So if you took potassium and you took sulfur. Yes, ma'am.
No. You have too much pride.
Yeah.
You need to let it go. Like this.
Send it back.
You're gonna work. Do it. Just do it.
All right.
Chicken salad.
Just bounce it.
So we looked at, if I told you potassium and sulfur were to form an ion, or form an ionic bond, what would the formula be? All right? But most of the time in the real world, it's not going to work like that. They're not going to give you, okay, potassium and oxygen. They're going to tell you what is the formula for potassium oxide. So they're going to give you the name and want you to find the formula. All right? So that's the ultimate goal that we want to use. Why were you all the way in Guido's classroom?
Because I have to go get my stuff.
That's not, the bathroom's nowhere around there.
I went to the bathroom already.
Then you should have come right back here. You didn't ask to go anywhere else.
Alright.
Not right at this second.
Yeah,
Unless it's an emergency.
it's not hard.
Hurry, right there and right back.
I'll always go right there.
All right. So let's look at how to do this from the names. All right? Because most of the time, this is how it's going to be. In fact, you're going to have a section on the written part of the test that's going to look a lot like this. I'm going to give you a list of names. You're going to have to write their formula. All right. If you want to pull this up, this is in classroom, but you can go from here. So let's say I gave you calcium nitride. And I want to write the formula for calcium nitride. So, when we name a cation, how did we do it? You just put their name and then the word ion, right? Well, when you write the names of the formulas, you drop the ion part off. So, calcium. What's the formula for calcium? Ca, right? So I'm going to write Ca. And what's its charge? +2. Then I'm going to look at the anion. Here's where things can get a little tricky. I'm going to look at the ending. What does it end in? I. If it ends in IDE, with a couple of exceptions, hydroxide or peroxide are the two main ones. If it ends in IDE and it's not hydroxide or peroxide, you're going to look for it on the periodic table. So nitride would be what? What would be the symbol? N, nitrogen. So it would be N, and its charge is -3, right? So now that we've done that, we're right back to where we were, right? So the only difference in doing it from the name, or if I just give you the elements, is you got to figure out what the elements are. So now that we've done that, we just switch them. So this 2 comes down here, this 3 comes down here, and I get Ca3. ends. All right. So let's look at lithium oxide. How would I get the formula for lithium oxide? So lithium is Li, and it's +1. Oxide, since it ends in IDE, is going to be where? Oxygen, O minus 2. And now we switch. So it's going to be Li2. Right? Why don't y'all try number 3 on your own? Hydroxide and peroxide.
Wait, Charlie.
Why are you trying to
It's BA.
No, it's not.
I'm writing rice board. He's proud of her name.
All right, we got it?
Here, sign it small. I got it.
Yep.
She realized the first it goes.
BA is the bottom of the second one.
So BA is what? +2. Sulfide is going to be what? What's the symbol though? S minus 2. So this number comes down here, this number comes down here, but since they're both 2's, what happens? They cancel, so it's just BA. Right? How about y'all do, I'm going to let you do 4 and 5 real quick. And then we'll look at what happens if we have a polyatomic ion. Write them down.
That's combat.
Alright, we're ready or y'all need another minute?
I'm gonna go to Catholic school.
Yeah. Alright. So what is potassium? A. And what's its charge? No. +1. Nitride is going to become what? N minus 3. And when we cross them, we get, like they'll say, K3. Right? And then the last one, copper 2 fluoride.
CuF2.
So copper is Cu. It's +2. F
Fluorine is F2.
minus 1. So when you cross them, you get Cu. F. All right. So any questions with those? Let's look at what happens if we have a polyatomic ion now. All right. So let's say I gave you calcium sulfate. So calcium is what? +2. Now notice, what does it end in? ATE. So if your anion ends in ATE, ITE, hydroxide or peroxide. So if it ends in ATE, ITE, hydroxide or peroxide. You don't use the periodic table, you use the chart. Right? So since sulfate ends in ATE, I'm going to go to the chart, and the chart's going to tell me the formula in the charge. So what's the formula in the charge for sulfate? S something doesn't quite work. 3. It's SO4 minus 2. Y'all have the chart, get it out, look it up. Alright, so now, what do? We switch them just like before, but notice, they're both 2s, right?
Yes.
So what's going to happen? You don't put it in parentheses. So it's going to be CA, and that's the point I want to make with this one. SO4. Why did I not put SO4 in parentheses? Did I write a number from up here behind it? No. If I don't write a number from up here behind it, so when you cross it, it simplifies, you don't have to put a number, you don't put parentheses. That makes sense?
Yes.
This is where the mistakes come in. Right? People either put parentheses around everything, or they put no parentheses at all. Right? So if you don't, you only use parentheses if you have a polyatomic ion, first of all. And second, if you don't have to write the number from up here behind it, you don't put parentheses. So since the 2's canceled out, I just needed one SO4, so I don't have to put it in parentheses. How about lead 2-phosphate? So lead is Pb plus 2. It has the Roman numeral, so the Roman numeral tells me the charge. Phosphate ends in what?
8.
8. So if it ends in ATE, I find it on the chart. So it's going to be PO4, -3. So now they cross, right? So I get PB3. Do I put PO4 in parentheses this time?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because it don't cancel out.
I have to write the 2 from up here behind it, right? So since I have to write the 2 from up here behind it, I got to put it in parentheses. So it's going to be open parentheses, PO4, close parentheses. This starting to make more sense?
Yes.
All right, y'all try sodium chlorate on your own.
In it.
35 minutes. 30. Cut it down.
L flavor. But it's actually like carbonate.
Oh, yeah.
I should have made the
Ready?
L flavor lemon. I made
Yes.
lemon got lemon lime. Could have made Sierra mixed in my mouth.
If there's not a number, it's understood to be 1. So sodium is Na plus 1. Chlorate is going to be what? ClO3 minus 1. So they're both 1s. So am I going to put ClO3 in parentheses?
No.
No. Because I don't physically write a 1, correct?
Yes.
And so since I don't have to write this number from up here behind it, I don't use the parentheses. So it's going to be
NaClO3.
Alright, y'all do 9 and 10 real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about what tomorrow is going to bring.
Magnesium is NG2. I don't have much.
We'll have to screw up. Our families, the potatoes from our very plains that we very planted and very hard. There wasn't a potato.
The potato from the place where
Tell them,
Ireland.
Minus 1.
give me what we call Yes. School and we've never been to school before.
Papa put stock footage of the potato farmer. Stock photo.
I don't know what mom
After classes.
made me home farming potatoes.
I think they had potatoes.
Taters.
And I know how to read a little bit because my papa don't make it. He said I'm a woman. My pa. He said mom can't teach me because a woman can't teach.
We're good?
And live.
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
I will die.
Are we male or female?
I don't know what's in your pants. I mean your skirt.
It's boys.
I can do those things.
My mom
You and me
and I said my dog so she's like, do we wear bustle?
I'm going for the potatoes
In
now.
that case, yeah, you Alright, so I have magnesium nitrate.
You just rough it up.
Magnesium is Mg what? Plus 2. Nitrate is going to be what?
Give me my tater back.
NO3 minus 1, right?
Yes.
So now we cross it, right? So the way you tell if you have to write parentheses or not. Do I physically have to write this 2 behind an O3? Yes. So since